All right, we are live. Welcome to another edition of Not Mainstream, February 16th, 2018, and quite a bit to talk about. Let's get to the big thing first that happened this week. A tragic attack happened in Florida at a high school this week, and let's just say thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and their friends and their families. And so what happened is that a guy shot up a school and with at least 20 people dead and quite a few injured.
Yeah, he was an expelled student, apparently. His name is Nicholas De La Cruz, I believe.
Yeah, Nicholas Cruz is the guy's name.
19 years old, and very unfortunate circumstances. He had posted, I think, on his Twitter or Facebook or one of his social media platforms that he was a professional school shooter.
Mm-hmm.
There are some that are saying the FBI ignored the warnings.
Yeah.
Which they probably did. I mean, this FBI is pretty incompetent.
Yeah, I mean, what is the deal with this FBI? I mean, I guess they're too busy looking at, fake Trump-Russia crap to do an investigation. I mean, come on. I mean, the FBI was tipped off a year ago about this happening, and now they're saying, well, we didn't expect him to be a shooter or anything. I'm like, give me a break. Do your freaking job. Quit investigating the damn Russia shit that we know is fake and all. It's there's no Russians involved in the election. We get into the Russians a little bit.
I'm fired up tonight, so be prepared. There's going to be some F-bombs dropped.
Warning: language not suitable for all audiences. But it's just absolutely bullshit.
Especially when we get to the Russian shit. That whole.
Yeah, we'll get to the Russians. We'll get to the Russians because that's nonsense as well. But what is wrong with our FBI? I mean, they get a tip, they investigate for a few months, and they say, well, there's nothing there. Just like with the Las Vegas shooter, they investigated him and they cleared him. I mean, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's President Trump, candidate Trump said we need to shut down the immigrants, the migrants, the refugees until we can figure out what the hell is going on. We need to shut down the FBI to figure out what the hell is going on.
We do. Well, the thing is, from what I understand, the kid is actually white, but he was adopted.
Yeah, and so not only that, there was like major fake news going around about this. They said that the kid was a part of white supremacist groups. He's a Trump supporter and all this other nonsense. That was all fake news. I mean, there was no, concrete evidence to support the fact that he was in any part of any white supremacist gang or that he was any Trump supporter of any kind. And then there's like these pictures going around with some dude in a bandana, face covering up and everything with a Make America Great hat on. That could be anybody. That couldn't be the same freaking dude. I mean, his face is covered up, so you can't tell if that's the same dude or not.
I heard about that, and I didn't see the pictures, but somebody claimed, oh, well, guess what? He's wearing Make America Great Again hat. The guy had a bandana over his lower face. How the hell are you going to be able to tell who he was or what he was
exactly. Like? And they posted in CNN. They posted a photo of him shooting a gun at his house with the red hat on, and people on Twitter said that's a Make America Great Again hat. I'm like, just because it's a red hat doesn't mean it's a freaking Trump hat. I mean, come on.
If they're showing him from a side profile shooting, are you going to be able to tell what's printed on a hat?
Exactly. I mean, even though it's a red hat, doesn't make it an automatically Trump hat.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of red hats out there. Oh my gosh.
We have all this blame going around. Oh, he was part of this group. He was part of that group. He was a right winger. He was a left winger. How about he was just a fuckhead?
Yeah.
How about that? How about he's just a fuckhead?
Exactly.
Doesn't matter
exactly.
what political affiliation he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's like every time there's a shooting happen, they're like, well, he's a Democrat. Well, he's a Republican. I mean, it goes automatically. It's either he's white, he's black, he's a Democrat, he's a Republican. I mean, that's the major four, mainstream news narratives going out there. If it's a black dude.
Yeah. What was it Chris Rock once said? Whatever happened to crazy? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he was right, too. Whatever happened to just somebody being crazy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see, the thing is that, I mean, these shooters, all right, they're hopped up on all these, antidepressants, all these drugs that they're getting from their doctors because, they have some kind of medical condition. They have some kind of mental illness that's making them doing all this. It's not the gun's fault. It's not anybody else's fault but their own selves. I mean, there's countless reports of people, getting drugged out, blacking out, don't even know what's going on, and they go shoot up a place, and they don't even know what they did, after they came back down from their high. I mean, it's just, it's like every time there's something like this happens, the left always says gun control, gun control. Now, if you notice, it's now gun reform. They changed it to gun reform.
Shane, they don't even wait till the bodies are cold.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even wait until the bodies are cold. And all of a sudden, bam, gun control. We got to have gun control. Even Obama, we're going to talk about those portraits later, too, those horrible portraits.
Yeah, we will. But now, if you notice, the new narrative is gun reform. If you notice, because there's a lot of tweets that says instead of gun control, gun reform. So watch out for that. They're going to change the whole gun control aspect because gun control is not working. People don't like the word gun control, so they're going to change that to gun reform. Watch that narrative change very closely.
That's just translation. We're still going to take your guns away, but
exactly. We gotta make it sound we're not going to take your guns away. We gotta make it sound like we're not going to take your guns away, even though in reality you're going to take the guns away.
Yeah. These idiots, they make it seem like, oh, that gun must have just gone up off that table, leapt into that young man's hands, just started shooting by itself.
Yeah. It's like okay. It's always the gun's fault. It's never the person's fault.
I've said this before, but it bears repeating. Okay, let's say you want to ban guns? Fine. Let's ban knives. Let's ban cars. Let's ban baseball bats. Let's ban 2x4s. Let's ban water. Let's just ban everything.
Let's ban anything that can consider a weapon. That's considered a weapon. Let's ban it.
Okay. All right,
so Henry, that means we have to cut our hands off because our hands is considered a weapon. So we won't be able to have hands.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're walking down
hand control.
Street. You're walking down the street and a piano falls on your head. Let's ban pianos. That's how ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, my gosh, but that's the thing about them. They want the control because control gives them power over people.
Mm-hmm.
You take away people's guns, the people are going to be powerless, which is what they want. Mm-hmm. Once the people is powerless, they will control you. You would become slaves of them. That's exactly what they want, is so that you can become a slave to them.
Do you realize that just today they had a bunch of those students, I guess surviving students, protesting in the streets? Yeah. Do those students between the ages of 12 and 15 even know what they're protesting? Do they even know what those signs mean that they're holding up?
Yeah, I saw that too. And I saw, they chanted at that candlelight vigil, no more guns, no more guns. It's like, do you not realize if maybe, an instructor or a security guard or another teacher or principal, if they had a gun, they would have been able to take that shooter out right then and
Mm-hmm.
there? Because the cops,
Yep.
you call the cops. As soon as you call the cops, you got to wait, 15, 20, even 30 minutes to an hour for them to show up,
Yep.
and then that's in that time frame just itself, say, 5 minutes to about 30 minutes, that's going to be a lot of dead people in that time frame.
Exactly. And I mean, like I say, do those students even really know what they're protesting? I don't think they do.
They're they I agree with you, Henry. I don't think they know what they're protesting. They're just watching the mainstream news narrative and
Mm-hmm.
basing their protesting off of that. And then,
Yeah, I mean,
you got all these people, you got all these Hollywood celebrities again, because the Hollywood celebrities is, the power overlords for us, crying and bawling their eyes out. Trump, you need to do something. Jimmy Kimmel, crying. Jimmy Kimmel, who get his, who has Chuck Schumer write his freaking monologue for him, up there crying, oh, Trump, you need to do something about this. You need to take the guns away. You need to be like Hitler and Stalin and all these other evil dictators and take the guns away. And I'm like, okay, first off, one, you take the guns away. Okay, that makes you an automatic dictator, because Hitler took the guns, Stalin took the guns, Mao took the guns. Every dictator in history took the freaking guns. And
oh,
so the
but
mainstream news narrative.
I thought the left didn't want Trump to be a dictator.
Well, we'll
I
talk
thought they
about
didn't want
dictators
him.
too, because the left is embracing freaking Kim Jong Il and his freaking sister at the freaking
Yeah,
Olympics.
Yeah, yeah.
Kim Jong
Her
Un,
fawning
yeah.
over his freaking sister. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I posted on Twitter. I said the mainstream media would kiss Hitler's ass if that means to stick it to Trump. If that means to hate on Trump,
Mm-hmm.
they would lick Hitler's ass
Mm-hmm.
if they
Hey,
want to hate
Lale.
on Trump. Hey, Lyle.
They
I
would.
got
Yeah, you're exactly correct. But I mean, this is a tragic situation. What happened in Florida?
Yeah.
It's horrible. And the other, you can't be. Why blame the freaking guns? It's not the guns. The guns don't jump up off a table and shoot themselves.
Yeah.
You have to have someone pick up a weapon and use it.
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly why they blame guns. Because
Why
the
is that?
Democrats want to take over the United States, create martial law, and take all their guns, so they, the Democrats, as running the government, can control all of us. That's why they blame the guns.
That's exactly
That
what I
is
said before you came on, Mel. That's exactly what I said. It's all about power and control. You take the guns away from the people become powerless. That means they are going to be in control.
Yep.
The people would become powerless if you take the guns away.
Yep.
They know for sure that if they want to succeed with their plan for a new world order, the one world government, you got to take the guns away from the people.
And they've been working on it for 50 years or more, slowly but surely.
Luckily, they have no success at all. But now, before you came on, well, I said something. They called it gun control during Obama's, reign of terror. Now, and I saw on Twitter today that they're going to change it to gun reform. Watch that new narrative. It's going to be called gun reform now. That's going to be the new narrative. Because, gun control sounds too strict. So gun reform, is like, all happy and go lucky. It's all the same. It's all the same. Gun control, gun reform, gun anything. It's all the same.
Exactly. They're just trying to reword it so it doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like global warming and climate change.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess gun reform is going to be the new buzzword for the left.
Yeah, just watch it. CNN is probably already saying that, and they're deep staters. That's there.
Yeah, they're gonna be
But
like, "Oh, it's just gun reform. It's nothing to worry about. It's just gun reform.
it's
Nobody's
like
getting
tax reform, you know. It's like tax reform, but it's gun reform. You know, they're probably going to compare it to tax reform somehow. But yeah, the new narrative is going to be gun reform. And watch on these leftist sites and mainstream sites. They're going to say gun reform instead of gun control. And so here's the thing. In conclusion, the FBI is incompetent. So we are not going to have any answers. This is going to be like Las Vegas 2.0, where the narrative is going to change. They're going to come out and say, "Well, excuse me, well, you know, this happened. Oh, wait a minute, it happened like this. You know, it's going to be Las Vegas. We won't get any answers. It's going to be blown over in a couple of weeks anyway." And because that's how the news cycle works. You know, we got the attention span of a gnat. So in 2 weeks, most of the mainstream people will forget about this. Something new will come up. But it's still a tragic event that could have been preventable, that could have been prevented if the FBI was competent enough that actually, you know, we had an FBI that actually works. But again, we don't. It's not the gun's fault. It's the person holding the gun. You know, they're either mentally ill, or they're hopped up on some kind of drugs, or they're hopped up on some kind of legal prescriptions that's, you know, giving side effects that, you know, is causing these mood swings or any of these other violent outbursts. So
and brainwashed.
again,
Don't forget their brain. Most of them have been brainwashed by liberals.
I mean, and then plus not only that, you have, you know, mainstream media news sources that's you know, CNN, MSNBC, that's spewing out all these, you know, false narratives day after day after day that any you know, radical leftist is going to pick up on and start, you know, conjuring up and being like, you know, ISIS, and getting brainwashed and indoctrinated and becoming a radical leftist and start, you know, shooting up people and blowing up buildings, everything.
Yep.
That's true.
If we don't get it mashed down first.
Yeah.
This whole thing is just getting way out of control, and it is. I mean, this whole thing is just getting way out of control. I mean, every time, this is the discussion we're going to have. I guarantee. Every time there's a shooting.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Remember, what was it on Halloween in New York City? A guy used a truck to kill people.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, what is truck control at? What is truck reform? What is truck reform at? What is car reform at? You know? I mean, here's the thing. Vehicle accidents surpass gun accidents by a large margin. So where's car control? Where's car reform at? And I wouldn't be surprised if that would be their next narrative, you know, saying, well, we got to get all these, you know, robotic cars on the road because humans are incapable of driving. So we're going to have to, you know, get all these smart cars on the road, which is another way to control people, is, you know, not have them drive, but have the car drive for them, which is going to be, you know, an absolute failure. These smart cars are just going to be epic failures. They've already proven to be failures anyway. But yeah, you're correct, Henry. Every time there's going to be a mass shooting, it's going to be gun control, gun reform, or, you know, take the guns away. But, you know, I think what happened at Aurora, you know, Aurora, Colorado, the movie theater shooting, I think that was the starting point of this whole gun control narrative. To me, anyway, that felt like that was the starting point of this whole gun control narrative.
When it got hyped up worse. And that, and what was her name?
I think the gun control argument has been around for a long time. It really kind of came into modern thought process with Gabby Giffords is the one you're thinking of.
Yeah,
Lyle.
right. Yep, that's it.
I have the anti-gun mom.
Mm-hmm.
And and she said she wasn't for gun control for a little while after she got shot, she and her husband, and then they changed their mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they probably they got threatened by one of the deep staters. You know, you have like someone from the CIA pay a little visit to your house and say, "Hey, don't do that, or else something's going to happen to you."
It might be.
That's how these people operate.
Yep.
But not only there was major fake news going around about the shooter himself that was at the high school. And also the shooter was captured. He wasn't shot dead. He didn't kill himself. He was actually captured, which is a interesting turn of events because usually when this happens, the shooter winds up dead somehow. But in this instance, he was caught. Yeah. In this instance, he was actually caught, and he was in court, I think, either today or yesterday. And he was doing the whole testimony. But not only there was fake news going around about the shooter, there was actually fake news about how many mass shootings that took place just this year. And they said 18 mass shootings took place this year, which is absolutely fake news, which is not even accurate at all. Basically, what the statistics do is that, let's just say if I go out and go to a school and I commit suicide, that right there, that my statistic will go incorporating into mass shootings of schools. So
what I read
no 18 mass shootings here. Go ahead, Lyle.
What I saw didn't say mass shootings, it said school shootings.
Yeah.
And it said 18. And then but the article I read said there were 6. And then only 6, not 18. And then somebody said there was only 3 school shootings. I don't think it said mass. What's it take to be a mass shooting? 4 dead, 5 before they call it a mass shooting.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like the left wants to split hairs with terminology.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds
and plus,
like.
Here's the thing: if there was 18 mass shootings, school mass shootings this year, I think we would have been talking about that ever since the start of the year, and we haven't been talking. This is the first instance we've actually talked about a school mass shooting. So there hasn't been 18 of them because we're pretty spot on when we do these shows about keeping up with current events.
We know also that we don't hear about all of them. If it's something small in a small town somewhere, it might get mentioned, but it's not blown up on the news like this was, or a bigger because a bigger amount of people were killed. And there may be a few small things here and there that we don't hear of. But still, 18 is just too.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the way they do these statistics is like if I go out and I commit suicide on school grounds, they include that as a school shooting for some reason.
Yes.
And there's like been, a couple of instances this past year that some people has committed suicide at school, and they've included that as mass shootings, as mass school shooting for some reason. So I don't get these statistics.
No.
Well, yeah, I mean, suicide does not count because you're killing one person yourself.
Yeah. But that's included in the whole statistics, though, for some reason.
Well,
the same way as Obama preached about how many illegal aliens he shipped back over the border. And remember, if one person tried to sneak over 4 times in a day. That was 4 they counted as he had sent back.
Yeah.
It was not an accurate number. He sent back 1 4 times. He didn't send back 4. But they put it down as 4 to pump their numbers so he could say, I'm sending them back, when he was, you know, that wasn't the way it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they work their numbers. They will.
Well, you know, I think that should be our next topic is the immigration crap. You know, and all the fake
Before we
news.
do that, there was I think a gym teacher or PE teacher who actually sacrificed himself during the whole school shooting in Florida.
Yes.
Which I forgot the guy's name, but he actually sacrificed himself. And thoughts and prayers go out to his family and his friends. And
I agree. Bless him, bless his family, bless his soul. What a good fellow.
Before we continue, I have to ask, but what can be done about these school shootings? Gun control is off the table. Gun reform is off the table. That's off the table. That's not going to solve any problem. My theory is that, you know, get security, get bonded and licensed security at every school. Allow a principal, allow instructors, allow teachers to carry guns, and I say have like a sign posted and say, you know, out front of the school that says, this school is armed. Try anything, you will be shot on site. I think that's what needs to be done.
If a teacher isn't comfortable with a gun, that teacher doesn't have to have a gun.
Yeah, don't force the teachers to have guns. If they don't want to have a gun, allow the teachers that wants to have a gun.
That are familiar with guns and they have training or will
especially training. You know, train teachers on how to use the guns properly. And you know, put it up in a safe place so nobody can get easy access to it, you know?
Exactly. And also put their vets to work. Retired cops would love to work part-time.
Yeah.
Or,
that's a great idea. Yeah, I've been advocating for that, Well.
Things.
Have these, you know, vets who already has, you know, training for stuff like that, hire them as security. Hire them to, you know, walk around the school area, and because they know the steps, they know the process of how to identify, you know, a suspicious person or a shooter that's going to come on site. They know that,
and they also know how to lead people in the right direction. Stay here, go there. You know, they know how to conduct themselves and people around them in those cases too. I went to my son's school. We have a little school here. It's about 600 in an elementary. And I went to his school a little while back, and there was a dude in uniform standing in the office, just kind of hanging out or whatever. He was toting a gun. And I think he was school security for like different schools in the county. And he'd hang out at this one some days, go to that one some days. If there was a call for some reason, he'd go to where, you know, and we, you know, have very little, if any, violence in our schools here. Thank you, dear Lord. But he was standing in the office, chit-chatted, and I was thrilled to see somebody there with a gun that was decent, Christian, knew what he was doing, trained, and had a revolver on his hip. Thrilled me, you know. Cause I ain't got but one youngin' and damn I don't want nothing to happen to him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you.
I agree. We need to arm the teachers that want to be armed, and they also have put this year at our school a second doorway in instead of just opening the big doors and walking straight into the school and the office. They've blocked it so you can walk in and go to the office, but you can't get in the other doors to go down the hallway unless the people in the office let you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, unlock it for you. And I like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, too. So, okay, go ahead.
Henry, you got any there's some feedback.
I don't think it's from me because well, what's
You
going
got
on?
feedback?
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't.
Now it's gone for some reason.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Russians.
Go ahead, Henry.
It's the Russians.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, those are really good. I think those are very good ideas, and I would certainly love to see schools incorporate those ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, yes, have you know they could have let's say former military.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there's a former military guy who's retired and he's not doing anything with his time. He can walk those hallways, you know,
and would
as long as
like
it's
to have
authorized carry.
something to do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
As
you have all
as he's
these,
authorized.
you have all these, vets that can't get jobs for some reason. I mean, this would be a great way for a vet to get a job.
As long as he's authorized to carry a firearm, which that would be that would be an important qualification. They have to be licensed to carry a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be mentally stable and pass all the rules, regulations, and all of that. I agree. But there's a lot of them out there who would love to have something to do, somewhere to go, have little kids to rub their top of their head and say good morning,
Yeah,
I like that idea.
I do too. So do a lot of people, except the liberals.
Yeah, because they hate America so much. But let's get into. You say he's going to talk about immigration, the whole immigration plan, Henry.
Oh yeah. Well, I saw a video from Mark Dice earlier, and he's just absolutely brilliant. Mm-hmm. Especially when he shows older clips of some of these leftists that shows their hypocrisy.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
His video today was talking about how we had people like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton back a little over 10 years ago talking about we need strong immigration reform. We don't need to be letting these people. Her too. Yes, her too. Yeah. We don't need to be letting these people in our country. We can't afford them,
Yeah.
And yet here we are over a decade later. These are the very same people who are saying, let them in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. What needs to happen is Trump needs to tweet these videos out. Tweet them out. Say, hey, fine. Go. Trump can be like, hey, look at Senator Feinstein. She called for immigration reform back in 2000, whatever. Look at Chuck Schumer. He's advocating for a border wall. Hillary Clinton advocating for a border wall. Barack Obama advocating for a freaking border wall.
Even Barack Obama. Yes, there was a clip of Obama also.
Yeah, I saw that clip. He's like, well, we need to buy a wall and get these people out of here.
And what about the old Bill Clinton campaign buttons with the rebel flag on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, another example. He said we need a wall and keep these people out for illegals.
Yep. They were for it before they were against it.
That was back when they had the votes to stay in power. Now they don't have the votes to stay in power. Now they're advocating for open borders.
Yeah.
Yep, they want them votes.
They're pandering now, you see.
Yeah, so speaking of immigration, the Senate and the House voted against Trump's policy.
They didn't have to pander.
Yeah.
Back when they didn't need the votes, they didn't have to pander. But all of a sudden, when they needed the votes, they all of a sudden started pandering.
Exactly. But they voted against Trump's immigration plan this week,
I'm not
and
surprised by that.
Exactly. I'm not surprised either. So here's the thing: March the 5th was in a couple of weeks. It's like 3 weeks, 4 weeks away.
I'm sure the left is going to call that it's a loss for Trump. It's a devastating loss for the president.
I think this is a win. This is a whole win for us.
They'll call it a loss.
Yeah, they'll call a loss. It's a win because they didn't get DACA done in time. I don't think DACA is going to get done by the 5th of March.
If it's a win for us, it's a loss for them. You know.
Let's see. March 5th is in about let's see, it's 2 weeks from this Monday. So
so about 3 weeks. Yeah, so what would happen if they don't have a plan in place? Are they going to deport these people? Are they going to self-deport? Is the government going to shut down?
If the Democrats can get the government shut down and make people think the Republicans did it, then the government will be shut down.
Yeah, that didn't work out the first time. It's not going to work out the second time. I mean, you know, they try their hardest to say, "Oh, this is all Trump's fault. This is a Trump shutdown."
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was a Schumer shutdown because Schumer was crying and whining. We need amnesty for all these people. No. Yeah, it's not going to work the second time around.
Was that this week or last week that they had a shutdown for a few hours?
Oh yeah, that's right. They only had a shutdown for like 3 hours.
I know.
Yeah, that's Trump's fault too.
The next few days,
that's Trump's fault.
Everything's Trump's fault.
Speaking of something that's Trump's fault again, the stock market. Last week we mentioned that the stock market dropped 1,000 points, where now it's back to about, I think, 24,000, 25,000. So that's Trump's fault. Trump did not do that. Obama did that. The only time that Trump did it is when it dropped. And what's really funny is that I don't see CNN posting the screenshot of the stock market, you know, going upwards. They sure as hell posted when it dropped 1,000 points. They didn't do it when it recovered.
Yep.
No.
They have the agenda going on that Trump's bad.
Oh, that would go completely against their narrative if they showed it going up.
Yeah.
Can you imagine sitting in the meetings at CNN and MSNBC at a big conference table with 12 head of other people and trying to figure out what lies can you make out of the news? What can we say to make him bad in this instance?
Yeah.
My God, I can't live that way. I'm not that kind of person.
Well, I've been saying this for quite a few years now. I've been saying this for quite a few years now. The media, the news media in this country, they're not concerned about getting it right. They're concerned about getting it first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know.
But of course now they're just actively, you know, working against the current administration.
It's not
getting
it right. Flew out the window.
They don't
being
care about
eight.
getting it right anymore. They just care about trying to take down the Trump administration.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
And speaking of Obama, the portraits.
Yeah.
Let's get to these. Let's get to those ugly portraits.
So the presidential portraits was unveiled, I think, this week or last week.
It was earlier this week. I think it was Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, yeah. So, good God Almighty! Obama hired a painter who, by the way, likes to paint women, cutting off black women to be specific, cutting off white women's heads.
White women's heads.
So that's the painter. That's the painter that painted Obama's photo for you. Yep. And he also likes to use sperm, from what I understand, from what I've heard in his paintings.
I didn't hear that.
So I don't know how that works out. I don't know if he just paints sperm or if he actually uses his own sperm to paint with, or whatever. Anyway, and so they unveiled the Obama's portraits. Obama, for some reason, is taking Obama's taking a dump in the woods, and Michelle Obama.
It's poison ivy. It looks. Somebody said it looked like poison ivy.
Think about this. These portraits are going to be hanging up in the Smithsonian.
Oh God!
And the Obamas, I mean, they kind of seem like they might be proud of those. And of course, the fake news media fawning all over the Obamas. Oh, these wonderful
portraits. Take a look at past presidential portraits, and then take a look at this. This is I think this is like a big FU to past presidents and to America, basically, because Obama is sitting in a chair with leaves or green crap all around him, and then there's like a rumor going around that what the painter did was use Photoshop, like the actual Photoshop flowers around it. So I don't know why, but I don't know why they did that. The only thing I can think of is that Obama commissioned him because he's anti-American. Obama's clearly anti-American because he hired a painter who paints black people cutting white people's heads off. So.
But everybody
take that into consideration. But Obama's portrait is awful. And then you got Michelle Obama's portrait, who she hired some social justice warrior who painted Michelle Obama. Didn't even look like Michelle Obama. It was like god awful. I guess it was like I wonder if she used like a photo before the surgery to paint Michelle Obama, or if she used like the photo after the surgery to paint Michelle Obama.
Both. I mean, let me tell you, both portraits look like they were. Both portraits look like they were done in an 8th grade art class.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember who posted it, and I would go back and find it. But did you guys see the post? It was like this country dude in like work boots and jeans and the plaid flannel shirt or whatever and a hat, and he was sitting in a lawn chair up against a hedge or bushes or whatever, and with his legs crossed and his hands.
Did not see
it was
that one.
Hilarious.
I haven't seen that one.
If I run back across it, I'll send it to you. It was funny.
Bill Clinton has had at least 2 portraits made of him. One of them is just of his face. Bill Clinton.
Oh,
Bill Clinton,
yeah.
One of them is just of his face, and the other, it shows him standing there kind of sideways, and you can see a shadow on the left hand. There's a shadow on the left-hand side. That shadow is of Monica Lewinsky's dress. And they don't put that one up in the. They don't have that one hanging. Yes.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, you serious? I thought it was a joke.
I've seen that picture, yeah.
They did not hang that one in the Smithsonian. They have that one in storage.
I don't know.
If I had to make Bill Clinton's photo, if I was the one that was commissioned to paint Bill Clinton, and his presidential portrait, I would make it like him sitting at the Oval Desk with Monica Lewinsky under it. That's how I would have painted. And then I would have, like, you know, Hillary in the background with her arms folded and then, like, enraged.
With a cigar.
You know, having a cigar, like, on the desk. But
Yes.
I don't see them
Oh,
portraits
God.
lasting pretty long.
I mean, all these
Monica
other.
Lewinsky, she was young, naive, stupid, and
I mean,
she
all
got
these,
treated like crap.
all these other presidential portraits were pretty good. They were much better than this one.
Yeah.
I'll just put it that way. This one just, or these
looks
two,
like,
I should say.
I mean, now I gotta say the Obama looks pretty good, all right, in the painting, but
The one
the
of
green
Barack, at
Barack
least
Obama,
it looks like it.
Yeah, that green.
I mean, it looks better than the Michelle Obama photo.
It does.
Michelle Obama does not look. It looks horrible. It doesn't even look like Michelle. That's quite frankly, it's an insult to Michelle Obama. You know,
Yeah.
that's pretty bad.
Here's the thing.
But the Obama photo,
Michelle's
if you take
shoulder,
out,
Michelle's shoulder looked
it's like
about
she's
as
got
big
like
as
a
her
broken
head.
arm or something.
Her shoulder looked like her shoulder looked like it was as big as her head.
Yeah, but
That's how bad it was.
if you take the Obama photo and just take him out of it and put it like on a black background or maybe like the background of an Oval Office, that would be fine. But then I don't know why the painter, you know, has to, like, you know, have, like, you know, someone vomit all up around it, because it's awful. It's god awful. You know, if I was Obama, I would be like, whoa, man.
The way the little greenery and little bushes or whatever come around his feet, it makes it look like his feet are funky looking, like
It
they're
looks like
chopped off.
it looks like he's, you know, molding with the freaking bushes. It's like, you know, you know, have you seen the one that's going around where they like Photoshop more leaves covering Obama and he's got like binoculars on and he's spying through you behind the bushes?
I saw that one. I saw that one. Yes. And someone, I think someone put it on Facebook and said this is a much more accurate representation.
I saw that one too.
Mm-hmm. Man, it's just awful. I think Michelle got the short end of the stick.
And I'm sorry if it's not. I'm not going to say it's not presidential because it could be in the right format.
The Obama photo, if it did not have the green bushes around it, would be a pretty good photo because it actually looks like Obama.
Green.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. At least it looks like Barack Obama. The other one,
I don't know what they were thinking with Michelle's Obama photo. Jeez. Good gracious. Jeez. Let's continue on with the Olympics. The Olympics is happening this week and the end of this month. But the mainstream media figured out how to basically say F you to America and promote Kim Jong-un and his sister. Because, you know, the media is fawning over Kim Jong-un, the evil dictator of North Korea. They're mad because Mike Pence didn't clap for North Korea. The mainstream media absolutely loves Kim Jong-un's sister, who is apparently, from what I understand, huge in the slave industry of North Korea. The mainstream media love the North Korean cheerleaders who were basically forced at gunpoint to cheer for North Korea. So it's like, instead of the Olympics, it's the North Korea-thon because the mainstream media loves North Korea so much. And that goes to show how much the mainstream media hates Trump, hates America, and hates the American people. They would rather have a North Korean dictator win the Olympics.
Yep.
Exactly. And yes, and from what I understand, he took Kim Jong took thousands of North Koreans at gunpoint, I should say, to go and cheer.
That's not too surprising, to be
And
quite
what?
honest.
Yeah.
Not
I won't be surprised.
It's
Yeah.
not surprising at all, to be quite honest. I mean, this is a dictatorial regime,
Mm-hmm.
and there's
here's what I don't understand at all. They build Trump up to be some sort of dictator, so they have to say, well, he's a dictator. We have to make sure he's not going to, destroy America with his dictatorship. And yet it's the same media who's promoting dictator North Korean Kim Jong-un.
I know. This is why I have been so befuddled for the last 5 or 10 years. Women's rights, but they want they don't say anything about the Muslim women being mistreated.
Yeah. But
they
it's
want,
liberal, it's
love
progressive.
the Muslim. Let them have their religion and welcome them. But a little girl gets raped and her brother kills her, and the liberal women say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it irks. That is what. And it's the same thing with, Korea, North Korea, and, some other places.
Mm-hmm.
How can you call Trump Hitler when you look at it? Just befuddles me. I cannot grasp why other people don't grasp it.
Yeah. I agree with you, Lael. I can't figure it out either. I mean, how can Americans turn against their own country? How can they say, well, we don't like, I mean, here's the thing. It's not so much that they're anti-Trump. I mean, the left wants to try and play this narrative. Well, you're trying to say that we're anti-Trump. It has nothing to do with Trump. No. We're not saying that they're anti-Trump. We're saying that they're anti-American. It's not so much about being anti-Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It's about being anti-American. That's what it is.
And why? How? Where did this anti-Americanism come from? Except the liberal college professors.
Yeah, it's these, liberal universities. You have these, communists, preaching teachers who doesn't actually teach communism. They preach it because they love it so much, which, I don't know why, because communism has failed in every single communist country. Except for North Korea and China, which is going to probably start failing soon. Next couple of years it's going to fail. But communism has failed, socialism has failed, and they're still living on the thread and saying, oh, socialism, and communism is what you need.
I know, and I don't understand why. I just don't. It's like I was talking to my brother the other night about these detectives. There are certain people who can understand and figure out what a serial killer is thinking, but they're not a serial killer themselves.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand how these people think it's a good. Where did they get that? It's like they just became it themselves. They can't look at it and see what's wrong with it. What's wrong with communism?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they not believe in the Holocaust? And that can happen again anywhere right now.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand how people think, and maybe I'm the one that's thinking weird, and everybody else is right, but I don't think so. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
We know where you're coming from. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, am I the crazy one or are they? And my assessment is they're the crazy ones because
I think so.
they're the ones that are they're wanting this communism crap. They're wanting Marxism and socialism and
Mm-hmm.
just redistribution of wealth. I mean that was what Obama was all about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's history shows it does not work at all. It does not work. It does not work. It does not work. And yet they still want it. Venezuela, prime example. You have, the dictator of Venezuela, eating, is gorging himself while his people are starving to death, who has to eat, cats and dogs off the streets just to get a good meal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, Democratic Socialist or Communist Bernie Sanders, preaching communism because he's a commie himself. There's no difference between a Democratic Socialist and a Socialist. It's all the freaking same. You just add in a word in front of it to make it sound better, just like with gun control and gun reform. It's all the same. He's a little commie.
Well,
he's a...
Yeah, here's the thing. The left, they're always preaching about to have equal rights for women, which they have, equal pay for women, which they have.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
I agree.
the left is always about. I mean, they're always putting their noses in to this women's rights issues.
Yeah.
Women's equality.
I mean, here's the thing. They said that, well, we got to have equal rights for women. What kind of equal rights for women that women don't have? I mean, they have jobs, they can drive, they can do all sorts of things, and yet you still want equal rights? I mean, what else do they need? Yeah, they can vote.
They need to take their ass over to the Middle East.
Oh, I know what equal rights they need. I know exactly the equal rights that they need. They need to stop driving. They need to cover themselves at all times. They need to have a man with them at all times, or else they get stoned to death. They can't. They're not allowed to vote. I'm guessing that's the equal rights they need.
Yep. Sex on demand.
Yeah, look at the Grammys.
Don't let your socks show.
Yeah. Who was it? It was at the Grammys this year. This what's her name? This Camille Cabello. I've never heard of her. She's this singer. She's up there talking about women's rights, equal rights, and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Grammys was nothing more than virtue signaling and SJW crap, social justice warrior crap.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
And like I say, if the feminists and the liberals are so into women's rights, tote your ass over to the Middle East and go to work there.
Yeah.
And see what you
Exactly.
I'm with you on that.
Instead of bringing it here, go to there if you want that. Go to there if you want to get stoned to death. If you want to, be a slave.
Instead of bitching about how horrible you have it here, go over there and stay a month and see how those women live.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Bitching.
But they're too progressive and too liberal to do that. We can't do that. I like to see them go over there and put their pussy hats on and start riding and everything, and see what happens.
Oh yeah,
they'll get arrested on the spot for that.
See how many of them use their return ticket, and how many of them got beat to death with stones in the town square.
Yeah.
Beheaded and hung.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
equalized. All right, there's
like
something
that's world.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if this was on your list to talk about or not, but it's the whole thing with this Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, and, I haven't really been following that closely. All I know is that she denied it. The lawyer denied it. She came out with two statements that saying that never happened, and we talked about it.
Yeah, and she went, but now she's all of a sudden saying it, and the left, and especially the fake news media, is talking about, well, Trump's lawyer paid this woman her $30,000.
Yeah, with his own money, money, which is he said that Donald Trump didn't pay her, the Trump organization didn't pay her, but the lawyer paid her with his own money.
They didn't know anything and the president did not know anything about it.
Yeah,
Who are we talking about now?
I don't get how this is, Trump's fault, or how Trump is involved in all this. I mean, it's just more. It's more nonsense to me. That I don't really see anything there. One, first off, who cares if he slept with a porn star? Two, that's Trump's fault. It's Trump's decision. Three, if it was during where she alleged it was at, which was, right after Melania had Barron, yeah, it's wrong. But, I mean, here's the thing. What can we do about it? There's nothing we can freaking do about it.
Right, yeah.
There's nothing we can do. And two, and last, if it's, it's Melania's final decision. If she forgives him, that's fine. If she says, I want a divorce, that's fine.
I agree.
That's going to be, it's going to be up to Melania. And really, I have to say this, it's really none of anybody's business if the president had an affair or not.
It's up to Melania.
Yeah.
Now, if he were to perjure himself,
if it was a rape situation or something, okay. But if they freely got together, that's up to his wife if she wants to keep him or chunk him.
Yeah.
Right. But see, the only way it would be anybody's business is if he perjures himself under oath, like Bill Clinton did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only way. But
that's the only time I would have a problem. Other than that, hey, no, none of our presidents have been saints.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. It didn't happen while he was president, though. So, I mean, this is way before he was president.
So what?
If it didn't happen exactly. If it didn't happen when he's president, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, fuck you, he's president.
Yeah.
He did this.
I mean, it's like they're like, bringing up, if he had like a threesome back in 1985, they dredged that up and say, oh, well, he had a threesome in 1985, and I mean, what does that have to do? I mean, it's not 1985. I mean, he wasn't president then. It's like, good God, who cares? You see,
Yeah,
here's
and
the
now
thing: most people are too busy focusing on celebrities and their lives. I mean, I don't care about
Yeah.
who Kanye West is messing around. I don't care about that. I don't care about anybody's sex life. I don't care about anything.
Well, now there's a former
Not
Playboy
celebrity.
playmate who's saying that she had an affair.
Yeah.
What? What did Layla say? Yeah, she broke up.
I think everybody's breaking up tonight. I think it's the Russians.
Yeah, it's the
Who's,
Russians.
I
It's
just
the Russians. They're colluding with Oprah, and
Yeah.
they are messing up our signal.
Like I was saying, I mean, now that it's his Playboy playmate, former Playboy playmate, who's claiming, yeah, Trump had an affair with her, but it was while he was a candidate.
So what?
So
Yeah. Here's the
yeah.
thing. There's a difference between an affair and what Bill Clinton did. What Bill Clinton did was undoubtedly rape. All right? If you have an affair and you cheated on your wife, yeah, that's not ethical. Yeah, that's pretty wrong. But, if it's all consensual
if the
and you didn't
woman
rape her,
consented,
exactly.
if the woman consented, if they allow you, I mean, take a look at the famous statement. Look at the famous statement that the left about had a bitch fit over, grab them by the pussy, and they let you.
Yeah,
they leave that part
They
out.
let you, and that's pretty much truth to that. There's some truth to that. If a man like his stature and power and everything, they are going to throw themselves at you, and they would probably want to sleep with you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and like I said, Monica Lewinsky was young. She was naive.
Mm-hmm.
She's not innocent in all of it by any means.
No.
She did it, but what 19,
See, the thing
20
is that
year old girl is going to tell the president of the United States no?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just sent you a cool picture, Shane.
Yeah, I saw that. That was great.
Did you see the last one I just sent?
Yeah.
With Obama unveiling the picture.
Yeah, that was great. That is awesome.
Okay.
Now there might be those who say, "Well, Trump is hypocritical. He's talking about family values and being a Christian, but yet look what he did, or allegedly did."
Yeah, it's going to be a never-ending saga. But speaking of never-ending sagas, great transition, I guess.
Are we going to talk about what happened today? What the stuff that was
of never-ending?
Is that what we're getting to, Shane? The stuff that happened today with Mueller and the 13 indictments?
Not quite yet, because we have someone announced their Senate run today. A former presidential candidate who lost, and well, it's Mitt Romney. No shocker there. Mitt Romney is running for Senate in Utah, which is kind of predictable because he, moved from Massachusetts to Utah, and now he's running for Senate. And I'm not endorsing him. For God's sake, I am not freaking endorsing him.
Nope.
We here at Political Alternative Media is not endorsing Mitt Romney. We want to drain the swamp, not add to it. What was that?
What's he running for?
Senate.
Senate in Utah.
Senate. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And let me see if I can bring up the article of what he says.
I hope he loses because even if he gets in there as a Republican, he's not going to be much better than.
He's in the neocon. He's going to do anything. The only reason why he's running for Senate is to stop Trump.
Oh yeah. He's a real POS. He really is.
Mitt just really is confused me.
He was always like that.
Yep.
He was always like that. He was going to be a neocon if he would have won. If Obama lost, we still would have Obamacare. It would have been called Romney Care. There's
Yep.
no difference between the two. Just like with John
Yep.
McCain and
Yep.
Obama, there was no difference between the two. Mitt Romney and Obama, there was no difference between the two.
Not much, I guess. At least Mitt Romney was a Christian and not Muslim.
I think Mitt Romney was an insult to Christians, basically.
That's about the only thing he's got going for him. That he's not a Muslim.
I've enjoyed my stew. I can try to find the entrance into
But he's not a Muslim.
Like I said, that's about the only thing he's got going for him.
And I did not, but a majority of America voted a Muslim into office. Now, had he been a good, decent Muslim, okay, but he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
He was narcissistic.
Well, this is before everybody found out that the mainstream media was in the back pockets of Obama and all the other political people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the article from Breitbart about Mitt Romney's announcement. I don't think he's going to win, to be honest with you. If he does win, that thing is going to be rigged in his favor. I don't see anybody in Utah voting for Mitt Romney. I mean, you had Evan McMuffin, who ran in Utah, and he came in third. He lost to Hillary. So
yeah.
So I don't see Mitt Romney winning. Here's the article from Breitbart. Former Massachusetts governor and 2012 Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney announced on Friday his bid to run for an open U.S. Senate seat in Utah. Romney said in his announcement, "I have decided to run for the United States Senate because I believe I can help bring Utah's values and Utah's lessons to Washington." Romney said in a press release on Friday, "Utahns are known for hard work, innovation, and our can-do pioneering spirit. I am running for the United States Senate because in these trying times, there is no better movement to bring Utah's values to Washington. Utah's economic and political success is a model for our nation. I am ready to fight for this great state and advocate for solutions that improve the lives of Utahns." In Romney's announcement video launching his campaign, he said, "Utah welcomes legal immigrants from around the world. Washington sends immigrants a message of exclusion." See right there? Open borders.
Yep.
He's open borders Romney.
Yep.
The Atlantic. No, he added the legal. Utah welcomes legal immigrants. He means all immigrants, legal and illegal. The Atlantic reported last week that the National Republican Senate Committee would like to make Romney the next chairman of the organization should Romney replace outgoing Senator Orrin Hatch. Romney and President Trump have had a rivalry during the last couple of years, and reports from Politico last December suggested that President Trump wanted to block Romney from running for the Senate. President Trump rejected having Romney serving as his Secretary of State, choosing Rex Tillerson instead. I don't understand how Romney can run for Senate since he's been living in Massachusetts for quite a while. I thought maybe you might have to be in Utah for a year or more before you be able to be qualified for a Senate race.
Well, is he splitting his time between Massachusetts and Utah? Because if he's not living, I think you have to live in a state. You have to live
to Utah.
Okay.
Did he live in Utah before?
I do not know.
How long before the election?
I have no idea.
I was going to say, does he have time to live in Utah a year before the election, or is the election like this November?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I don't
Well,
see him winning.
if it's a special election, I don't think they would have to wait until the midterms. I mean, they can do special elections basically at any time.
Yeah.
You know, they had the special election in Alabama to replace Jeff Sessions. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't think this is special. I don't think this is a special election that he's after.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's
Well,
his actual Senate.
This is probably part of the midterm then.
Yeah, primaries and midterms. Yeah.
Right.
So again, I don't see him winning. I'm going to endorse his opponent, whoever not his opponent, but his opponent. That's running against Romney.
His Republican opponent.
Yeah.
The election is in November.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have the primaries going right now. You know, he's obviously, just like the presidential field, he's going to have some competition on his own party.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's running up against him in Utah. Let me take a look. Let me look that up real quick.
Because I mean, we have primaries for the Senate here also.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize our little city until 2 years ago. I didn't realize our little town had primary elections, but I voted in that primary. So
okay, the declared candidates is Chris Forbrush, Timothy Adrian, Larry Michael Myers. Ooh, that's a good name.
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great freaking name. And Mitt Romney. So, it's only 4 people.
Wait a minute, you said this Fullbrush guy, this Myers guy, Romney, and somebody else?
Mitt Romney, Larry Michael Myers, Timothy Adrian, Jimenez, and Chris Forbrush.
Okay, Jimenez. Okay, gotcha. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about 3 of them. I don't know anything about. I don't know. Familiar with them.
I don't know those 3. I just know is Mitt Romney.
Right.
Well, Mitt Romney was kind of tossed to the curb early in the debate.
I think it was 2008. 2008, I think, Lyle. Because he ran in 2008.
That was the 2012 election.
He ran for president in 2008 and didn't get the nomination.
Oh, Mitt Romney ran in 2008?
2008, yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't even follow politics back then, so I didn't even know that.
He ran in 2008, and then of course he ran again in 2012 and became the eventual nominee.
Yeah.
And I remember there was some possibility and there was talk about Trump jumping into the race in 2012.
Yeah, they said that he was going to jump in 2012, which I'm kind of glad he didn't, because I think that would have been too soon. I'm glad he waited in 2016.
Right, yeah.
Although I still think he probably would have beat Obama.
Yeah, I think
he would have beat Obama.
Yeah, as you mentioned,
I think Obama was bought in ahead of time, paid for, and
as you mentioned, Shane. I'm sorry, Lyle.
Yeah, I think Obama was bought and paid for by the Muslim Brotherhood ahead of time. Yeah. That's the only reason he became the senator in Illinois. and
Mhm.
Obama was bought and paid to be president,
Well, not
and they
just
got away with it.
well, not just by the Muslim Brotherhood, but also George Soros. I mean, he was
Yeah.
certainly Soros's
Well,
puppet.
exactly,
Yeah, I mean,
exactly. Oh,
Obama
yeah,
would bend over for anybody that would give him the money.
yep,
Yes.
yep. And like I say, Obama was sitting. Hillary thought she
Mhm.
was sitting,
Mhm.
and Hillary got fooled.
Yep.
But speaking of endorsements, I've decided to endorse my third endorsement, Dr. Shiva Ayodhya. He's running in Massachusetts, I believe, against
Mhm.
Elizabeth Warren. He's a real Indian
Against
instead of
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas. He's an actual Indian. He's a real Indian. So I've endorsed him alongside Antonio Sabato Jr. and Michael Snyder. Keep watching the Facebook page. There's going to be more endorsements coming out the next couple of weeks because we got to get these pro-Trump people in there. We got to get these pro-American people in there. We can't get people like Mitt
Yep.
Romney and all these other globalist neocons who hates America, who wants Trump to fail, and who doesn't want America to succeed, in Congress and and stop this whole movement that's going on. We can't have that happen.
Yeah, I agree.
All
Yeah.
right. So Henry's been dying to talk about this. I've been dying to talk about this as well. Russia,
Yeah.
Russia, Russia
Yeah.
is so apparently there's 13 indictments that happened
Oh
today.
my gosh.
And they're Russian
Russian.
trolls. They're actually Russian people. They're getting indicted. However, there's a twist. They supported anti-Trump propaganda. They formed an anti-Trump rally that's like after the election. So how did Russia colluded? So let me get this straight. So Russia colluded with Trump to put out pro and anti-Trump propaganda. I mean, where is this going? I have no idea. But Henry, take it away.
And the fake news media didn't tell you that part, see,
Yeah.
about them being anti-Trump.
Yeah, because it's against their narrative.
Exactly. And what I was going to say is that but the thing is, they were working as early as 2014, even before Trump even thought about running for office.
Yeah.
So there you go. How could they have been anti-Trump a year and a half before he started to run?
Yeah, and plus the election.
How could they have been?
Well,
how could they have meddled in the election? I should say a year and a half before Trump even decided to run.
Yeah. Yeah, it still doesn't make any sense. And plus, going back to the 2012, Trump was considering running in 2012, but decided not to. So
yeah, but that was 2012. Apparently this group was working in 2014. Trump did not seem to have any political aspirations in 2014. It wasn't until 2015, a year later, that he announced.
Which is weird. I think what's going on is that when Trump announced back in 2012 that he might consider running, I think that was the seeds planted for this whole anti-Trump for 2016. Because I think he decided not to do it in 2012, but he did it in 2016. So that's a big enough time gap right there for Obama to, collect any information about Trump, for Obama to approve any FISA warrants, for Obama to spy on Trump through that big time period, leading into the whole June of 2015 announcement that Trump is running for president.
Right, yeah.
But they were working. These Russian trolls, Russian whatever you want to call them, were working way back in 2014 for anti-Trump propaganda, which is why. I mean, this whole Russian narrative. Yeah,
If
this
it's
whole Russian narrative has been, you know, dead for the last couple of weeks now, because the mainstream media knows that this whole thing is underlying the DNC, to Hillary Clinton, to Obama. Those are the people that colluded with Russia. Trump did not collude it with Russia.
Well, here's the thing: if it's anti-Trump propaganda, then how could the Russians have been colluding with the president?
Yeah,
including with Trump.
Know.
If they were anti-Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what we've all been saying. If, and I know the three of us have discussed it, if the Russians were trying to interfere in the United States elections, they would have interfered so as Hillary Clinton would win.
Yeah.
Because they know she's going to work with them more.
Mm-hmm.
They would not.
Yeah, I mean, she gave them half our uranium in the uranium one deal.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it would have been very beneficial for Russia to help Hillary to win.
It makes no sense whatsoever. Another pile of liberal crap.
It's nothing more than a left-wing conspiracy theory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they had to come up with some reason, because, Lord have mercy, the queen of the world had lost.
Yep.
And you got to have a reason why, because that was not the plan.
Well, I mean, in the fake news media, of course, they're only going to tell you half the story. And then they say, well, 13 indictments of Russians. Oh, but they were anti-Trump. And they leave that part out.
Yeah. Yeah, they leave out all the good parts out. Which, because it doesn't fit the narrative of that Trump is this Russian, traitor to the United States, which is why. Okay, first off, Trump is like freaking pro-American to the T. Okay, so why would he sell out to the Russians? That makes no sense at all. Especially for why would he sell out to the Russians to help him win an election? So, I mean, there's all these unanswered questions. Is why would Trump sell out to the Russians? And the only thing that comes up is the whole, the whole golden shower gate scandal, which, I mean, there's no proof at all. They said there's video. I mean, where's the video at? I mean, we can get video of Kim Kardashian's, sex tape leaked, but we can't get video of, Trump, peeing on Russian hookers. So where's the video in all this?
We've got, no, we don't. Never mind. Well, and still, as far as Vladimir Putin goes, Vladimir Putin has no respect for Hillary Clinton whatsoever, or any of the Democrats, or most of the Republicans either. And he's going to use, take advantage, and use all he can. Putin does have respect for Trump. He may not like Trump. He may not be glad Trump is president, but Trump is a hard, tough man like Putin is.
Yeah, Vladimir Putin is a hard, tough man. So, they have some sort of common
and he will respect Trump. Don't mean he'll like him or work with him or whatever, but he will. When Trump speaks, he will listen. Whereas when Hillary speaks, Putin can go tell her, we ain't doing that. Hell,
I think when Hillary speaks, Putin laughs.
Yeah.
What was that, Henry? When Hillary speaks,
I said,
what?
When Hillary speaks, I think I think Putin laughs when Hillary speaks.
You know what's really bad is that not only the mainstream media is going on this anti-Russian narrative, but you have the History Channel going on the anti-Russian narrative. They are going to do this special about Vladimir Putin, and it's all anti-Russian propaganda. You have John McCain up there who wants war with Russia, saying that Putin doesn't want to work with us. Putin is the bad guy. Putin kills people. You know, it's like they want to resurrect the Cold War for some odd reason.
Yeah,
I guess because they've already the deep state already fucked up Afghanistan and Iraq and all that, the Middle East. I guess they have to fuck up Russia now, and then after they get done fucking that up, they gotta fuck up Britain or wherever France or somewhere. So yeah.
We warned you, folks, about the F-bombs. We warned you.
Yeah, we warned you about that. Even though Henry didn't drop the F-bomb, it turned out it was going to be me all along.
Actually, I did drop one earlier.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. You was cutting a little in and out. But
okay. No, it may be while I was.
But I dropped like 6 in a row, so that's okay. It's okay.
Kind of like in the movie.
Language not suitable for all audiences. Exactly.
Kind of like Shane. Kind of like in the movie Planes, Trains, Automobiles, where Steve Martin saw that.
Like, yeah, I like that one. That's great.
Right.
Great.
Fucking now.
Give me a fucking car. Yeah, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I mean, it was hilarious.
That was actually on. We had Stars. I think Stars Encore 2 weekends ago, and it was on.
Oh yeah, it was the preview.
Yeah, we have HBO Cinemax this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, but yeah, so that's the Russian news. Is there anything else that happened this week? Anything else? I think we covered all the major.
I can't think of anything else.
Major news story. I think we covered the Valentine's Day happened. You guys had a good Valentine's Day?
Yeah, pretty good. And, of course, the left they don't like Valentine's Day. Mark Dice made a video about it.
Yeah, because Valentine's Day is not inclusive. Wait a minute, how is Valentine's Day not inclusive?
I heard it called Valentine's and singles acceptance
Oh
day.
my god. Oh, we got to talk about this. This happened. I think this happened like last week, maybe a week ago. Justin Trudeau was at a town hall. Justin from Canada was in a town hall, and some woman asked a question. She had the audacity to say mankind. Justin Trudeau got triggered. You've probably seen the video. He got triggered and said, "We don't like to say mankind. We say people kind. It's more inclusive."
He's the freaking cuck.
Oh my god.
Did he have to be carried out on a stretcher, the poor fella?
Probably. No, not unfortunately not. He didn't know how to be carried out.
Maybe some old lady.
Justin
Trudeau was kind.
Old ladies.
He's the freaking leftist SJW. He's a moron.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If Joe Kennedy runs in 2020 and he gets elected, he's going to be our Justin Trudeau.
Oh my!
He's going to be our Justin Trudeau.
Oh yeah.
And that's scary.
They better give him a bib for his drooling then.
Yeah, he has to come up there with the freaking bib on. Whoa, slobber coming out.
He looked like a rabid maniac.
Yeah,
all that drool coming from
him and Cory Booker. It's going to be like dribbling 2020. We'll be dribbling 2020.
But Justin Trudeau has said that he is a feminist.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
like, dude, are you gay? Because only gay men would say they're feminists.
The only reason Justin Trudeau got elected is because of his looks. That's the only
Yeah.
reason he got elected, is because of his
Well, his
looks.
father was also prime minister, also. So
Yeah, but his father failed
that might play
miserably.
into it. Yeah.
His father
I know.
failed. He's gonna fail.
I've got a friend that lives there and made a comment on what a good looking so and so. And I said, because she used to live in North Carolina, and I said, Sarah, remember you also said that you thought it would be cool if Flip Dewey became president. The one from North Carolina that cheated on his wife when she had cancer.
John
And
Edwards.
John Edwards.
Yeah.
I said, yes, he is good looking, Sarah. And remember, you thought it would be a good idea if John Edwards was the president.
I call him the Breck girl because he was always concerned about his looks. He's a pretty boy. He was a pretty boy.
Now,
I
was he
said,
the
my
one that was
God,
running with John Kerry as
In
VP?
2004. In
Yeah, I remember
2004.
him. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And who in the hell would have? I'm from North Carolina. Damn, I'd have voted for it.
I'm
I don't
sorry.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
John Edwards is a
It's been
John
a good
Edwards
while
is a scum.
back, but I did not vote for John Edwards or Kerry.
John Edwards is a scumbag. He
Who
really
did they
is.
run against? Bush? Might have been.
John Edwards. I was talking about John
No.
Edwards. No. Yeah, it was Bush versus Kerry in 2004. That's
Yeah.
that was the election.
I voted for
Yeah.
Bush. I
Right.
couldn't vote for Democrat.
Yeah.
And after me and my husband, we lived in the mountains of North Carolina then in Boone. And that was like 4 years after the hole punch thing in Florida.
Oh, the hanging chads down in Florida.
Yeah.
2000.
And
Bush
yeah,
Gore.
this was like 4 years later. We went to vote, and Boone, North Carolina is where Appalachian State University is.
Mhm.
And so, of course, there's a lot of liberal kids. There's a lot of hippie kind of folks in the mountains, too.
Yeah.
There was this little hippie girl, had to have been her first time voting. I don't believe she was 22. Maybe she was. But anyway, while we were there, she said she wanted a receipt for her vote. Had on driggy clothes and dreadlock hair and whatever. And she was telling the woman at the desk she wanted a receipt for her vote. A voucher, a receipt to show who she had voted and what, you know. And the woman said, I'm sorry, ma'am, it's all on the computer. You just do it on the computer and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she wanted to make sure that her vote wasn't changed like last time.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I don't blame her at all.
But
I think they should give you like a printout of who you voted for. They should.
But
yeah, I agree. I think they should.
Everybody else there was like an adult, and everybody looked at her like, "You shitty, snitty little girl."
How do you say that, Leo?
Like,
that's funny, Leo.
Yeah.
You could tell that she was liberal in hell and too young to know better.
Yeah.
You know.
I think a lot of them are
But
like
anyway.
that. Yeah.
But you gotta remember, this is back in what, 2004. So that was before all the whole, election fraud and voting fraud was made, made mainstream. So yeah.
Right,
So but see, election fraud and voting fraud, it was, happened
went
in
on.
2004. It happened in 2000. It happened in 2008, 2012.
It's probably always gone on to some
Yeah,
extent.
yeah, absolutely, it has.
But now they're trying it more and more and more, and getting busted more and more, and it's more.
Yeah.
And we have more media now too.
Yeah,
Yep.
and we
We
got
didn't
media that actually focuses on election fraud and voter fraud.
exactly. So
So
yeah, I
there's
agree. You know. But then if you did get a receipt or something, if there's a question about the election, how many people are going to get the butts out of their chair and go to take their piece of paper back to show who they voted for?
mhm.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I agree with you.
So
I mean, well, see, I think everybody wants to have a paper trail to show who they voted for. They want to make sure. They want to make damn sure
yeah.
that's who they voted for. See?
Yeah.
Well, and what about all the machines that people report where they press the Republican candidate and it pops up Democrat and then it
Mhm.
processes
Yeah.
before they can do anything. And all the people at the DMV that illegals and whoever that go in to get a driver's license and they say, would you like to register to vote? And if you say yes and you don't say who, what, where, they put you down Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Now that don't matter who you vote for at the time, but that gives the Democrats way more on their list.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, you
That
got the dead people. You got the
yeah,
people that actually moved out of state and into other states, and they're still voting in that state and another state. So
yeah,
voter reform needs to
all of
happen.
that.
Needs to happen immediately, like
Well,
now.
I was going to say, I live in a small town, and the when we go to vote, they do require you show your ID. It's like, can I see your ID? Like,
That's
yeah.
racist,
And
Henry.
you
That's
show the ID.
racist. That's
Oh yeah, of
racist.
course it is.
You got all the
Damn.
racism, Henry.
They have, they have records of everybody who votes in our town. So, because I think the population of our town is about it's like 600 something. They have 600 something people in this small town, and
My
we have
population of my town is about 250.
Hmm.
that's a small town.
So when you go to vote, of the 5 people sitting there, 3 were your old school teachers.
Mm-hmm.
1 went to school with your mom and daddy, and 1 you're related to. You know, so
Yeah.
they don't need my ID, but they do ask for ID. You
Mhm.
know, if they don't specifically know you.
Well, they ask for ID
Now,
every time, whether they know us or not. Even if they see you at the voting booth, every few months or so, they still ask for your ID.
Yeah.
and that's good, and they
Mhm.
should.
Yep.
But when I walk in and everybody in the place says, "Hey, Lale, how you been doing?"
Mm-hmm.
They know who you are and where you live. But I do agree that we all should always take my driver's license in case, because we should show our ID.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Have your voter's registration card and show your ID.
They just
I don't think I have.
we don't use voter registration cards. We just have our like you can just show your driver's license.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
because
Because
on the book,
in my district, they give you a voter registration card that you got to show.
Huh.
oh, we don't have that either.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't do that with us. They just they say you can show your driver's license or whatever kind of identification you have. But let's say if you're a student voter,
Mhm.
Let's say if you're a student at Delta
Yeah.
State and you live down here, you can show them your student ID.
Right.
I imagine.
That's what. Let me get my voter registration card and I'll show you guys.
Okay. But they just but yeah, but that is a good idea for them to make sure that you're legally registered to vote.
Yeah.
They want to make
Well,
sure.
I think what we have is they have a list of who's legally registered to vote. And if you come in and you're labeled Pelt, then they look and we have a label Pelt here, registered to vote. So you
All
go
right.
ahead.
This is it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm marking up my name and everything. But see what it does, it shows your address and everything, and it shows where you have to go to vote, where your voting thing is. But this is a
Yeah.
voter registration card.
And I think we stay registered as long as you're voting. You stay registered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And see right here on the back of it, if you move to another place within the county, fill it out and mail
Yeah.
the card. So if I move somewhere else, I have to fill out my new address and everything and mail it to them to let them know that I moved.
So you know which new precinct to go vote. Yeah.
I remember, I think it was my first or second year in college. I was actually sent an absentee ballot because I wasn't at home to vote.
Yeah.
So, I got to vote that way because I was away at college. So they sent me the absentee. So I was sent an absentee ballot when I was in college, and that's how I voted. Was through absentee.
All right, I think we covered the big news stories. Let me go down my list that I've had, because what I do is when I post the link to the script to that the Florida high school, covered that. Mitt Romney, Rican Trump, I think we covered pretty much everything. All right, let's go and get some local news. And Lyle, do you have any local news for us?
Not really anything around. I will share this. If anybody wants to send prayers, my cousin killed himself about a week and a half ago, and he was 20 years old. If anybody just wants to say a quick prayer for that family, his name was Casey, and it was pretty bad. Which is why I wasn't on last week, because between that, there was a service that night. My brother was here, and we had, oh my God, last weekend we had 8 head of youngins and 6 head of dogs, and I don't know how I made it through, but it was still, it was a good time. But if anybody wants to say a prayer for Casey's family, please do. And I can't think of anything else in the state or whatever that's big news. So y'all go ahead with what you got.
No, that's okay. You guys are not forced to show up. I mean, if I have to, I'll do the thing myself. I'm not like a dick, forcing you guys to do stuff that you don't want to do.
I know. And that's a great thing about it. If you miss it, okay, and you try to come back quick.
Yep. All right, Henry, what do you got for us?
I'm trying to get to it right now.
All right, I'll go ahead and do mine. How you do find yours? So this is This is not locally, but it's state local, and our Supreme Court Chief Justice is out. Lowry is out as West Virginia Supreme Justices with the West Virginia Supreme Court of Appeals voted to change the leadership of the court. The Supreme Court Justice voted Friday today to replace State Supreme Court Chief Justice Alan Lowry. Lowry had been under scrutiny for following allegations the court misused funding for lavish office furniture. Lowry said in a statement in 2016, I requested a federal investigation into certain practices and procedures within the Supreme Court. At the time, I was dismayed with those procedures and practices and felt that I had a legal and ethical obligation to contact federal authorities. In my opinion, the action taken by the court today is in response to my cooperation with federal authorities. I defer to the federal prosecutor's office for more information. Lowry will be replaced by Justice Margaret L. Workman. She would keep the Chief Justice position through December 31st of 2018. Lowry will remain on the court as a justice. Stay with WVNSTV.com and 59 News mobile app for the latest on this developing story. So this was just breaking a few hours ago.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so I don't know what really happened. So apparently, from what I gathered through the article, is that he used taxpayer money to fund his office. And so they decided to boot him out. But I'll keep you guys posted if anything comes against the wire.
I don't think you're supposed to do that. You're not supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely misuse of funds.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, but I'll keep you guys posted if anything comes out between now and next
Sounds
week.
good.
All right, Henry, what do you got for us?
Okay, according to the MDE, I think that's Mississippi Department of Education, Mississippi's graduation rate is better than ever before. And this graduation rate actually shows for the year that my oldest niece graduated, which was last year, the most recent school year before this one. So the Mississippi Department of Education has released the high school graduation rates for the 2016-2017 school year, which show that the state's graduation rate has reached an all-time high of 83%. Mississippi's rate is just 1 point shy of the national graduation rate of 84%. Graduation rate for students with disabilities also increased to 36.4% from 34.7% the previous school year. And there's a chart that shows the kind of the progression. From 2014, it was 74.5, and 2015 it was 78.4. The following year was 80.8. The following year after that was 82.3, and the following year was 83.0. Dr. Kerry Wright, the State Superintendent of Education, said school districts have implemented multiple ways for students to earn a diploma, and that parents, teachers, and administrators should be proud of the Class 2017's significant achievement. I congratulate our school districts for ensuring that students are completing high school successfully so they can pursue their goals in college, post-secondary training, the military, or workforce, Wright said. A diploma is key to success in life after high school. The dropout rate dipped for the fourth consecutive year to 10.6% from 13.9% in 2014. Percentage of school districts work to help students stay in school. The Mississippi State Board of Education approved new diploma options that will go into effect in the 2018-2019 school year. That will give students the opportunity to earn an endorsement with their high school diploma, and will provide the majority of students with disabilities an opportunity to earn a traditional diploma. New diploma options include a traditional diploma for all students and an alternate diploma option for students with significant cognitive disabilities. Students will also have the opportunity to earn additional requirements requirements to qualify for a traditional diploma with a career and technical education endorsement, an academic endorsement, or a distinguished academic endorsement. Students can earn more than one endorsement. So that's actually a really good thing for students. It's a good incentive for them, I think, also. Okay, I got one more local story. It's about filmmakers gathering to discuss the growing film industry in the state of Mississippi. Elevate, develop, and network. Those are the three words that describe the film industry, and they just happen to be the name of the conference that was held on February 14th in the Two Mississippi Museum's auditorium. The day-long event had over 150 registrants from across the state to discuss a variety of topics, including FAA safety regulations for UAS drone camera operators, panel discussions with film producers associated with the sound and fury to Christmas in Mississippi, and special presentations by Octavia Spencer and Tate Taylor from the set of Ma, currently filming in Natchez, and Ben and Aaron Napier of HGTV's Hometown, who just announced filming of season 3 will begin soon. That's the national show. I think we've discussed that before on the show about the show that's they're down in Laurel, Mississippi, and they have their own series called Hometown. Additionally, there were panels focused on growing the local crew workforce and local filmmakers Aston Rocks Jackson, Michael Williams West Point, and Miles Doliak Hattiesburg discussed their leap into producing feature-length films in their local communities. Film festivals and community colleges with film and media programs from around the state were in attendance to meet with filmmakers and emerging storytellers. Ward Emling, who retired after 30 years as the director of the Mississippi Film Office, was acknowledged and honored by Mississippi Film Alliance President Melanie Eddington on behalf of the state's film industry crew and cast workers. Eddington opened the event by announcing the rebranding and expansion of the Mississippi Film and Video Alliance. The organization has successfully provided grants for filmmakers and has served as the fiscal agent for 2 decades, but will launch its new Friends of Mississippi Film Alliance soon to help raise more funds for filmmaking in the state and create a larger support network for those supportive of the film industry. Our goal today is to keep us growing as a statewide industry, to network and to create a unified voice, to show our leaders that we are an industry and an important one. Eddington said in her opening remarks, "We are not Hollywood, we are Mississippi." John Norris and Hudson Hickman, both working producers in the state, voted in as new members of the 12-person board of the Mississippi Film Alliance. Norris took a break from the set of Tate Taylor's Ma to attend the event. Hickman, along with Film Mississippi and Sam Haskell, were recently nominated for an Emmy for Dolly Parton's Christmas of Many Colors, Circle of Love, and is actively working to bring future productions to Mississippi. So, that is very exciting news. There have been several movies that have been filmed here in Mississippi, including there was one, The Chamber, which was based on the John Grisham novel, and it was partially filmed over here at Parchman, which is the state prison.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And Bo Jackson was in that, Gene Hackman, Chris O'Donnell. So
we have stuff.
There was a recent movie that was filmed. There was a recent movie that was filmed here called Free State of Jones, and Matthew McConaughey is in that. And that was filmed down in, I think, near Natchez. And also the movie Get On Up, which is the biography of James Brown, was filmed here in Mississippi partially. Oh, and The movie The Help, also.
Oh, yes, that's a good movie.
Yeah, and we see that all the time with Breaking Bad, for a prime example. You know, very popular TV show, and that Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, you know, filmed in Albuquerque. You know, that increased tourism by numerous amounts. So, you know, you have a successful TV show like that, you know, film in the backwoods of Mississippi or a small town Mississippi, you know, that's going to increase some tourism. And, you know, you guys can, you know, have a route through all the movies that's been, the sets and everything that's been filmed on, like they do with Breaking Bad and their tour. And the Breaking Bad tours around Albuquerque.
That movie, The Chamber, I can tell you there were parts of it that were filmed here in Cleveland, Mississippi. There was some filmed out near Beulah at the lake. And there's a Christmas tree farm down in down south of Shaw where they filmed the scene. And that's about 7 miles from here. So there are several locations in and around here where they filmed that movie. And as I mentioned, Parchment also.
North Carolina for.
Oh yeah, a lot of movies filmed. The Fugitive was filmed there. The movie, The Fugitive, parts of it were filmed in North Carolina.
A lot. Forrest Gump.
Yep, Forrest Gump. Parts of it was filmed. Yeah, that's right.
The Patriot.
Was that the one with Mel Gibson?
A lot of stuff. And then we had that some little series. It was a series that was filmed down by Wilmington, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was a series. There's been a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Because we have beach, we have flat, and we have mountains.
Yeah, y'all got a lot of great. Yeah, y'all got a lot of great locations.
Yeah,
you can
and we've got so much historical stuff.
Yep.
And so yeah, it's just a good place for whatever you're looking for.
Yep.
We've got everything but desert. We got swamp.
Well, of course, now we have the Grammy Museum, and that's been drawing in some tourism also.
Oh, really?
Having the second Grammy Museum in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, the Mississippi Delta is going to attract a lot of tourism because this is the birthplace of the blues.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
people go to Clarksdale, they come to Cleveland, they go over to Greenwood, they go to Greenville, because we have a lot of markers that say Mississippi Blues Trail, and there's one marker right down the road here, right down the street is the Mississippi Blues Trail marker. So there's lots of historical places as far as pertaining to the Mississippi Blues just around in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And B.B. King's hometown, Indianola, Mississippi, about 20 minutes from here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is great.
Cool.
That is awesome.
Hey, the little old black lady that was sitting on the bench with Forrest Gump.
Mm-hmm.
All the people we talked to sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
In the movie. That little old black lady was born in the old sharecropper's house on my granddaddy's property here where I live.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about.
She still lives in. She's very, very, very old. She hasn't died yet, but she's very old, and she lives still in North Carolina. And but she was born. My mom and daddy, when they got married in 1948, it was a little 4-room house.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and daddy moved into it and had my first 2 sisters there. And she was born in that house.
Awesome. That's
and
cool.
I did not know that until about a year or so ago. And that was just, it doesn't mean anything or whatever, but it was just neat that she was born. And I'm sure if she was born in, Granddaddy bought this property in about 1925.
Mhm.
So she was born in the next 10 years or so.
Mhm.
Because she's really, really old now or whatever. But anyway, speaking of which, that was just thought it was a neat, note. I don't know her name, but I remember, him talking to all the different people on the
Yeah,
bench.
yeah, I remember her too.
Yeah,
I think she's like the second or third person on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
In the
Uncle
movie.
said that he thought her son was in the movie somewhere too, but he could not be sure about that.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she was. So anyway,
That's neat. That's neat.
well, and
I,
that's
I almost
and
forgot.
that's good for
Go ahead,
your
Lyle. Sorry.
area, Henry, too. Yeah.
I almost forgot about the Burris house or the Burris plantation over here near Benoit, Mississippi. They filmed parts of the movie Baby Doll in that house, and
Did
they
they
just
who?
recently restored that house. It was an old house even when they filmed the movie, and that was 1956. So who was in that? Eli Wallach was in that. Carol
What
Baker,
movie?
Carl Malden was in that one.
What movie was that?
Baby Doll. Baby Doll.
Say it again.
Baby Doll. I haven't
Baby
seen
Doll. Yeah. It's a good movie, Shane. Really good. Sometimes they write on Turner Classic Movies. You might be able to catch it one of these times that they have it on.
it. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it. Check it
I'll
out.
keep it.
Basically,
I'll
the house is basically a museum now, and then they kind of turned it into it's a tourist attraction. It's a museum and everything. So people,
cool.
people get to go through it and they say, "Hey, this is where they filmed the movie." So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool. Um, I'm trying to think what town they used to film The Patriot, which was like a Civil War. Who was in it?
I think that was Revolutionary War, and that was Mel Gibson. He was Heath Ledger also.
Or what? You sure it wasn't Costner?
Kevin Costner.
No,
I think
that was
Kevin
Mel
Costner.
Gibson. That was Mel Gibson. That was Mel Gibson, The Patriot.
But anyway, it's not it's a good sized town now, but it's not, a big thing. But I remember them talking about how much dirt they hauled in historic district of town where all the old houses were, and they hauled in so many thousands or million pounds of dirt to put on the streets because the streets weren't paved at the time, and what they did to keep the light lines out, of that kind of thing. It was really interesting. um Long enough ago now, I don't remember all the details, but imagine then having to come and clean all that dirt back up.
Oh wow.
But anyway.
Yep.
But the end. Are we done? Do we have anything else to discuss?
I don't think so. I haven't seen anything yet. So yeah, I think we'll go ahead and end it right here.
Yep.
So yeah, next week is going to be another Not Mainstream. And then on the 28th, we return, me and Henry, with the X-Cast, the X-Files. Man, this past Wednesday night sucked. There was nothing on. So disappointed the X-Files wasn't on. Like, there was nothing to watch. So I'm going to be bored until the X-Files come back. And The Walking Dead returns on the 25th. So we'd be
Yep.
doing the Walking Dead cast again. The
Webcasting
Webcasting Dead. The Webcasting Dead on March 3rd. So until then, we'll see you here next week on the 23rd, the very last Not Mainstream for February. And Not Mainstream next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 Central, for another Not Mainstream. So who knows what's going to happen next week? It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. I'm going to predict right now it's going to be some wild week. On that note, good night, everybody. See you here next week. God bless America and God bless President Trump. Good night.